I've always been on the Eurosceptic wing of the Conservative Party, or as I sometimes say, on the Conservative wing of the Conservative Party. And for years and years, we've been trying to move the Conservative Party into a more Eurosceptic direction. The Conservative Party talks a good Eurosceptic story at election time, but then they go away and they behave like a normal social democratic pro-European party. And eventually I just felt that we'd had too many disappointments, too many false dawns. It was like pushing water uphill. I realised that after 12 years as a Conservative member of the Parliament, we weren't really making any progress towards the sort of policies I believe in. And meantime, we have UKIP, which is a party that exists to promote the sort of policies I agree with, not just on Europe, but in a whole range of areas, climate and energy especially, but I could give you a list of policy areas where UKIP has sensible, common sense policies that I and many Conservative Party members and ordinary voters are happy with, and yet here we have a Conservative Party that takes quite different policies. Mm-hmm. I actually joined UKIP at the spring conference in Skegness, which is in my East Midlands region in the UK. That was a very exciting occasion. But I had been pretty much determined to join UKIP for about 6 months. Now, my intention was, because I always say it's wrong for a parliamentarian just to change parties in midstream. He should leave if he wants to change parties. So I planned to leave the Parliament. I'm very elderly anyway. To leave the Parliament at the end of last year. I announced that decision in October, and that's what I thought would happen. Now, my first surprise was that although I'd sent a memo saying I resign, that is not a resignation in the European Parliament. You have to go through a formal process, sign pieces of paper in front of witnesses and so on. So I'd announced my intention to resign, but hadn't quite resigned. Then we discovered that the Conservative Party chairman had a problem with the next in-line candidate on the list system. And you know the system, that if there's a midterm vacancy, under the European Parliament list system, the next person in line just takes the seat. It's automatic. It's happened again and again. That's what happens. For some reason, the party chairman decided she didn't like that idea, and she wouldn't confirm the successor. Now, the successor is a good, sound, robust chap that I approve of. I was content to stand aside for him. I wasn't going to stand aside for some unknown Conservative Party nominee. So we ended up with an impasse where I said, no, I won't sign the papers until you confirm the succession. And the party chairman said, we won't talk about the succession until you sign the papers. So we delayed and we delayed. And I eventually said, look, I will not allow this uncertainty to continue indefinitely. Either you confirm the succession or I withdraw my offer to resign. Still all the time in my own mind intending to join UKIP in March. And in the end, the party chairman did nothing, wouldn't confirm the succession. So I just decided to withdraw my notice of resignation and carry on and join UKIP anyway, which I had been planning to do for quite a long time. Well, I've had a wide range of reactions. Obviously, I've had a huge number of emails in on the machine. Of course, a lot of those were from UKIP members, and those were overwhelmingly positive. Thank you for doing what you ought to have done years ago, they said. About half of them, I would say, were from Conservatives. And the surprising thing is that the majority, probably 2/3, of the Conservative emails were saying things like, sorry you've gone, but I quite understand your position. Good luck for the future. Some of them saying, I'm thinking of doing the same thing. And probably only the other third were people with sort of jaundiced, how dare you, letting the side down, those sorts of complaints. Because the point is that out there, Conservative members and activists actually agree with the policies that I uphold and that UKIP upholds. So you have this bizarre split between Conservative Party members who are really more inclined towards UKIP policies and the Conservative leadership that's in bed with the Liberal Democrats and behaving like a Social Democrat party. This is the difference, that you have the people who have common sense opinions, and frequently they're right. and you have the leaders who do things they feel they have to do for various reasons, and frequently they're wrong. The first thing is, I'm all in favour of UKIP's plan, or the group's plan, to campaign in Ireland. You have to be very careful, because the Irish particularly don't like to feel that the English are coming and telling them what to do. So we have to treat this in a very sensitive way. But on the other hand, you will get huge numbers of commissioners and MEPs going to Ireland from all around Europe saying, please vote yes, please vote yes. So they can hardly complain if a handful of people try and balance it out by saying, no, here are the reasons you should vote no. The reasons they should vote no are, first of all, because the euro currency and euro currency rules are exactly what has got Ireland into this mess, just as it's got Greece into this mess, and Spain and Portugal. So the euro is the problem, not the solution. That's the first reason. And the second key reason, I think, that will really impact on the Irish voters is this, that Ireland has these very competitive corporate tax rates. Lots and lots of companies are investing in Ireland because Ireland has low corporate tax rates. If you've got a German policy on fiscal rules, what's the first thing they're going to say? They're going to say unfair tax competition. Ireland must raise its corporate rates. Ireland's big competitive advantage, it's got an educated workforce, it's got English language, these are all good things, but a big competitive advantage is a low tax rate, corporate tax rate. They stand to lose that if they vote for this so-called fiscal union.